Seems unlikely, doesn't it?
Well, we'll see. Perhaps there'll be a better draft from ESC, which will give them more flexibility because, interestingly, they went from a really hard engage composition with Gragas, Kalista, and Alistar in game number 1 to a composition with really no engage in game number 2. And if I'm ESC, they're best at pick compositions. They're best when they can really go in and play aggressively.
There it is, a Shen ban from ESC Everson, just not wanting to deal with it, even though they would have the chance to first pick at this game.
Well, and the Varus ban too on the side of Samsung, so denying that pick from Tempt. I think that maybe Ever thinks about going for a Twisted Fate here. They did struggle with the Twisted Fate when they played against KT, particularly the aggressive Victor play from Fly.
True.
But the Rise actually gets through the draft. Of course, we have seen Crazy take that champion up in the top lane. He's actually had it 3 times this season, and Tempt hasn't played it at all. So probably this is going to be a Crazy Rise pickup.
Could be. Well, I mean, it's not that crazy. He's a strong champion, Monty. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised he'd be shocked by that.
Well, I would be shocked by Rise. That's what he does.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Kind of lightning magic guy, isn't he? Although now his magic doesn't really look like lightning, though. It kind of looks more like just blobs of blue stuff.
Maybe he throws blue at you.
Blue? I see where you're going with that. He wants to make you part of his group of blue men. It's possible.
It's really shameful there hasn't been a Blue Man Group Rise skin yet.
That is why I feel like the classic skin is kind of Blue Man Group Rise, isn't it? Sivir Gragas picked up for ESC Ever. Strong pickups there. I think the Gragas has certainly been a contested pick in this series.
Yeah, they took it in the last game. They used the early game pick potential and engage tools from the Sivir and Gragas ults well.
Yeah. Yeah, the Gragas has served both teams well in this series so far.
I do think you have to consider taking away the Nami if you are ESC, because you have to be pretty confident that that pick is going to come through from Wraith again, considering his emphasis on that champion this season. And he has played a Nami game.
They're thinking of going for the Alistar, though, along with the Aurelia for some engage, and they will grab it.
All right, well, I like this return at the very least. Again, what I said, go for the engage this time. Now they've got it. Take the Alistar. You have a chance to even pick up the Kalista again. It is a good matchup, at least in the laning phase into the Sivir.
Yeah. And the Jhin that was banned in Game 1 and then fell all the way through picks and bans in Game 2 is still out there for both of these teams.
Well, maybe ESC just misread what Ruler's preferred champion was going to be.
Could have been.
As they haven't had any inkling of going for that Jhin. Also just dangerous to take the Jhin, of course, even if they hadn't first picked the Sivir into the Alistar Aurelia.
We've seen the Renekton as an answer to Aurelia a few times this season. It hasn't worked out great so far, but it's a possibility. They might just go with the Swain, though, yeah. There's a Braum locked in, and they will swap it over to the Renekton right at the very end.
All right, Cubase's tried this before, playing the Renekton into the Aurelia. We've seen it from a few teams, but so far the Rocks Tigers are the only ones to really make it work.
Yeah, overall it's been not so awesome.
Taking the Braum, too. Looking for a nice big shield to hide behind, at least from some of the Rise damage. A few ways they could have gone about that, but I guess Braum is going to be the first selection. And we'll see how Cube does. It was wildly unsuccessful, his first Renekton game.
Yeah. And so maybe, yes, he goes for the Jhin, but do you go for the Jhin after the Braum has already been picked on the other side?
It does make it, I think, less attractive. But at the same time, with the range that Jhin has, he doesn't really have to worry about some of the engage tools unless he starts auto-attacking, and by that time, probably the Gragas ult will already have been used.
This is true.
I do think it's probably a little bit safer to go with the Kalista here, especially since you know you're going to like that matchup in the standard lanes, but it will be the Elise and the Jhin instead. So a lot of nice pick potential, though. We saw how well Elise can work yesterday in conjunction with the Jhin. Rocks Tigers doing a lot of work, setting up those picks. And at least, what's not to like, you have CC on every other champion in your roster, whether it's the knockup from Alistar, Equilibrium Strike, Ruin Prison, or the root from Jin. So the chain CC is going to be a powerful force here for ESC, and that was the game plan yesterday for the Rocks Tigers, and it worked out beautifully.
Yeah. So Samsung still mulling over their final pick.
Now we also see the Ryze going to the mid lane, and that's not a choice that ESC has made so far this season. Every time they've gotten Ryze for 3 picks, it's all been in the top side.
Yeah.
Now they take the Aurelia just to mix it up. And I think with Victor here, the wave clear is going to be attractive. You'll have a dominant early laning phase against the Ryze, and you return to one of Crown's best champions.
Yeah. All right, yep, there's Victor. And I'm not sure as far as the Challenger Series goes, but this will be the first time we've seen Temp play Ryze in LCK when he was at IEM in the promos and all that, at least. So we'll see what he can do.
I imagine he can play it. I'm not too concerned with that.
It is Ryze. He's been around for a while.
It is Ryze. He's been around for a while, even though he's, of course, had those reworks go through.
Yeah. But he's still Ryze. At the end of the day, you run up, you hit a bunch of buttons, and you see who dies. Really describes any character, though, in pretty much any game, though, I suppose.
Yeah, that's how video games work, Doa.
Yeah, you're right.
Got to get up in their face and just kill people.
Well, except for games like where you're building a city or something like that, and you don't really, you're not supposed to be killing people.
Yeah, city skylines, that's not the goal. But
yeah, that's right. It happens anyway. Morgues are overflowing once in a while.
That's one of the funniest problems in that game.
Not for the people who live there.
Well, they're just digital people, Doa, so I don't care about their suffering.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you are a merciless, merciless digital deity, aren't you?
That's me.
Wow. They've wondered what's going on
I'm like
outside of their world.
I'm like Old Testament God in City Skylines.
I guess so, man. Yikes. Well, we'll see if ESC ever see who takes it. Time to get into game 3. All right. Oh, yes! The best Drake in the game! Cloud Drake coming in, #1 ESC ever versus Samsung. It is good. I mean, Cloud Drake, every skill shot you miss is because you didn't have one, and every skill shot you hit is because you were just that much quicker.
See, I just thought the Cloud Drake was full of hot air, but
no, it's real. It's a real buff.
Value.
Yep. And you get to lane 0.5 seconds faster, so you've got that going for you too.
So fast.
Yeah.
Deep invade here for Vision. That is not something we see very often, but they do really want this Renekton in the Aurelia lane. What's interesting about this Renekton-Aurelia matchup is we have yet to see standard lanes with the Renekton-Aurelia.
That's true, yeah.
Smeb made it work regardless and delivered a pretty impressive Renekton performance. You do build full damage. We've seen a couple of different takes. Smeb actually wanted to go for completing the Black Cleaver first, but of course we've also seen Tiamat into Black Cleaver. And looks like
they're going to get it? Maybe.
They're going to invade the jungle. Wow, some wacky stuff going on right now.
Well,
they're checking the Gromp with both players. They're going to take away the Gromp, actually. But this is going to give Cube. He doesn't know they're doing this. He thinks they're walking into lane, so he's not going to be able to actually get any CS. He's going to be so sad now. If he knew that he had a couple of free CS right there.
Well, that was awkward. All right. Crazy's going to spot it now. Sees Wraith.
Yeah,
I think he saw Ruler, too.
Yeah, Crazy. Quite disappointed, I think, by not being able to get into lane, and got a couple CS, a little bit of experience there. They was sort of bluffed by Samsung.
That was an interesting level 1. But in the end, looks like they do manage to avoid the 1v1 for the moment anyway.
Yeah, and they should be happy with that. Even though they saw Aurelia in that top part of the river, because of where the minion wave was, there wasn't really an opportunity to switch things up there. Although Cube is sneaking around right now, looking like he thought maybe there was an outside shot that he might be able to get into that lane, but only a level 1. He wouldn't have the slice and dice Ruthless Predator combo.
Right.
Does make ganking tough.
So it will just be the lane swap, and it will just be turret trading early on. Probably a long time before anyone goes for that Cloud Drake.
And so we end up in a relatively standard lane swap situation, despite some interesting early plays.
Well, the turret going down a bit quicker for ever, though.
Crazy did jet down there.
Loken got really low, too.
It's not really going to matter. Ambition actually is going to just help out, ensure that they don't fall too far behind when it comes to tempo. And Xpeke going to go ahead and be granted the solo gold. Wave dissolves in the nick of time, and Bless will return to his own jungle for a little bit of a delayed red buff here. But
yep.
Might open up some later ganking options with the help of the red buff. And Crazy gets some nice time, and so does Xpeke alone with the wave, but Crazy will get a little bit more free time. Takes a couple with Blade Surge, and he'll be happy to have those few extra CS. Now, TP back into lane for Tempt.
Oh, Crown mistimed the death ray a little bit.
He did. Doesn't have an upgraded staff yet, so he couldn't even hit him with the second part of the death ray damage.
Oh. Failure. Epic fail.
And now we see Samsung's decision, which is going to be to match lanes. And the horns are signaling the last Jin crit.
Is that a horn, or is it like a stringed instrument? That sounds really strange. I can't really tell.
I don't know. They should make a soccer Jin skin so we can have a Vuvuzela sound.
That's true. Vuvuzela? I thought it was like Vuvuzela or something.
Vuvuzela? All right, fine, whatever.
Vuvuzela sounds like a Muppet, man.
Like Vuvuzela sounds like a Muppet too. They all both sound like Muppets.
Yes. Oh, hi. Flashing in. They're trying to make a play on the Xpeke. They get the flash. Going to avoid the cocoon that way. Crazy's still chasing. But they're not going to be able to get the kill.
That was a really awkward gank from Bless, flashing over the wall right there.
He just shows up. It's like, oh, hi. Hi, I'm here to gank you.
They deny some CS. I suppose that's nice, but Xpeke just plays ring around the wall and gets out. Uses his flash. Takes a little bit of damage, I guess, but
yeah,
not that impressive.
I mean, it was so strange because Flush just comes over the wall and then he doesn't really do anything right away.
Yeah.
Xpeke is just like, are you going to
shoot that cocoon?
Like, kind of starts walking away. He's like, okay, I'll flash. I guess this is the game. Was not sure at first. It's been a night of kind of awkward plays so far. This has like been one of those. Maybe NA has a chance at World Series, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, a lot of mechanical misplays,
yeah.
Weird / bad tower diving.
It's interesting. SKT's still gonna win it all. Doesn't matter.
That is how the script ends every time, Doa.
It's true. I'm not even going to say something like, although this year SKT has been looking a little bit rough because, you know,
they always get it together.
It's not going to matter, yeah.
They always get it together somehow.
They just want to give you hope so they can take it away again. Faker's kind of
they're
sadistic
cruel
like
that.
Yeah. That's how it is. We do have standard lanes now, more or less. 1, 2, 3. That's what you said in Korean. I understood that.
Yeah. Good job, Doa.
Thanks. Who eats Chobra anyway?
We finally are getting this lane matchup. Crazy. I mean, that gank at least denied the CS. That's the one thing I will say about it is it has actually been beneficial from Crazy's perspective when it comes to getting an item advantage in this lane, but even so, he's having a hard time.
Yeah. Ambition lurking up, but Bless is going to find him. He's on the run. Body slamming away. Trying to protect this lane.
Yeah, Samsung just reassigning everybody into that bottom side. Now they're going to TP.
Wow, they're going to go for it. He wants to fight, but
Crazy.
they're not going to. Yeah, Crazy decides to make an appearance.
Wow,
And,
this is Victor can just walk down there right now too. I'm not sure why Crown is.
He is walking down.
Yeah,
there
he
right
should
now.
have decided to commit to the bottom side a little bit earlier though, and try and pressure them off the turret.
Well, now Samsung just basically gets a free turret.
Well, they thought that Victor was coming down. He actually hit in the river right there in the brush, and so they didn't have vision. But now Rise is coming.
Yeah, Bless gets lit up though when he tries to go in, gets exhausted, repels. Not gonna live though. Kube pops that Renekton ultimate, pretty tanky early on. First blood going over to Wraith. There's another one. Kube picks up a kill. Gonna get a third. Double kill now for Kube. 3 overall for Samsung. Trying to make it 4 as Crown comes down for a piece of the action. That's one for Ruler. And that means merely a 3K gold lead at 8.5 minutes for Samsung.
Yeah, they get the turret too, and that was just a terrible call from ESC.
Yeah.
So when they realized that Victor wasn't coming down, they tried to engage, but the turret was too low, and it was a 3v4
Well, just
without the Rise there, and there's no TP on the Jhin, so he can't get into this. There's no turret left. What are you going to do? Ambition is already moving down on that side of the map, so by the time the Rise gets there, 2 people are already dead.
Yeah.
He also doesn't even have ultimate yet on Alistar, so there's no way to buy time by using the Alistar ult to tank until the Rise gets there. That's just really bad play from ESC.
Yeah, no other way to really say it.
Loken could not be part of that fight. And the way their composition is designed is to get picks with the chain CC. Fighting 3 versus 4, it seemed like it was a miscommunication there between Tempt and the rest of the team, because they obviously thought he was going to be there sooner, but you just got to give that turret up at that point.
Yeah.
The thing that ESC did was they made a decision, and the decision was, we are going to freeze the lane in the top side to deny CS and to power up our Jhin. Crazy was already ahead when it came to CS. If you make that decision, you just have to give that tower up, because you are on the back foot with both side waves pushed up at that point, and you're not pushing out the top wave to create any pressure. It's just a sloppy macro decision, and
Right.
it looked like because Crown had fooled them earlier by pretending to be going down into the bottom side, that they thought they would be able just to fight with the Rise before the Victor, but that simply was not the case.
Well, and with a lead like that, I mean, you gotta wonder if Samsung's going to be able to snowball this one pretty quickly.
I mean, I think the worst part about this, Doa, is that Xpeke got 2 kills and 2 assists out of that.
Yeah.
Which,
If there was any chance that Crazy would be able to go toe-to-toe with Mr. Renekton, it's looking pretty remote now.
and he's going the same build that we saw Smeb go, which is the Phage Jarum's Fist start. So probably going to be that Black Cleaver Sterix. So he's actually changed his build from the last time we've seen him.
Yeah.
But with the Dominus and the Sterix passive effect, it's incredibly difficult to kill the Renekton.
Thanks for a big crocodile, too.
Super big.
Yep. Tempt just getting to farm in the mid lane. That's been pretty even between these two guys. Crown with just the 1 assist out of that last fight.
Crazy still just stuck on a health crystal and a stinger.
Yeah, wow. Samsung invades the blue. Gonna go in on the key. Had the exhaust. There's a kill for Ambition. Use that explosive cask to pin him against the wall. And Kube pops the ultimate. He's gonna flash ahead for the stun. Crazy in big trouble. Loses the duel. Uh-oh. This one is pretty far off the rails already, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that misplay was absolutely huge from ESC. You can't really recover from giving up 4 kills and your turret at that early stage of the game. They've just been misplaying this composition and been very well punished for it.
Yeah.
Nobody even cares about the Cloud Drake, Doa, your favorite Drake.
Nope. They don't
Ambition's
understand.
going to take the buff right out of the Rift Herald. Rift Herald apparently more important.
I guess so.
It is. That is how good the Cloud Drake is that Rift Herald buff is actually preferred.
Do you realize, though, how many more barrels he hit with that Cloud Drake? A few of them, barely. That's the
He
answer.
would have been there half a second earlier
Yeah, that's right.
to land the sick ult.
Moving just a teeny bit faster means the difference between life and death.
That's true, if you're outrunning a bear.
That's right. Well, you don't want to outrun bears, generally.
Yeah, you can't do that.
If it's a black bear, you try to just like make yourself as big as possible and scare it because they're kind of timid. And if it's a grizzly bear, and you want to like back away while you're doing it, so it's a grizzly bear, and it starts to come at you, you just roll up in a ball, cover the back of your neck with your hands, and
pray.
That's right. And if it starts licking you, it means it probably wants to eat you, so you want to defend yourself then. Try to fight your way out, even though you're probably going to die. There you go.
Nice job.
Nature tips. Doa.
And always remember to put your food in the tree when you're camping.
That's right.
So you don't have bear problems in the first place.
Exactly. Exactly. Wear like little bells when you're hiking, you know. The animals know you're there. They'll avoid you for the most part. We used to see black bears in Wisconsin once in a while when I was a kid. Back during my lumberjack days.
I'm from Colorado. Spent some time in Yellowstone as well, so I've seen grizzlies.
They have bears there, yeah.
Black bears in Colorado. Grizzlies in Wyoming and Montana.
Right. And Crazy. He's got a bear of a time here, doesn't he? Ha ha! Oh, he lives. Wow, what do you know? Able to get out of there with the teleport. Bringing Tempt in, but there's Crown. Gets hit with the Rune Prison. So some trading, but no kills.
He took your advice, Doa.
He did.
He was in the fetal position, just covering his neck.
So he lived for the moment. Bless trying to get out. Crazy, dodging that Chaos Storm. Cuvée just trying to make himself look as big as possible. And backing away.
Yeah, unfortunately, they take so much of a chunk out here that 5 people in the mid lane, a very real possibility they are even aggressively pathing behind the turret. Here comes the curtain call.
That's right. Going to try to put some damage in onto Samsung, but Wraith there. Blocked with the shield. Whoa, not the last hit, though. That's a bit. It's a bit of damage. But it's not enough to really scare Samsung away, and they're going to be able to take this mid lane turret. Ruler pops his ultimate just to help the team get in and get out quickly.
Just to zone them off, make them afraid of a possible turret dive engage. Means that the turret is taken without any more additional damage suffered by Samsung. Boomerang Blade helps out. Vici secures the enemy blue buff with the smite, and it's just all going Samsung's direction right now.
Yep. Rift Scuttler, more valuable than Cloud Drake.
No one wants Cloud Drake.
No.
So we were discussing on the cast yesterday, Kilios and I. Actually, Cloud Drake is the evolutionary forefront of dragons, Doa. Because
really?
Yeah, all the other dragons are horribly. They've evolved horribly because they've evolved to a state where everybody just wants to kill them all the time.
Yeah, that's right. Cloud Drake really has it right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You make yourself useless to the champions on Summoner's Rift, so he actually has more time to live, spread his genes. Soon all the Drakes are going to be Cloud Drakes.
I mean, it seems like that sometimes. It's classic, you know, predator prey philosophy. You make yourself unappealing to the predator,
exactly,
and you live to propagate your species.
Yep. Cloud Drake is actually from an evolutionary standpoint the best Drake.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's the best Drake.
No, Doa, that's the only way. No, just the best Drake.
As I'm sure we'll discover, there are many more ways. I've seen the statistics and numbers and things, and it tells me Cloud Drake is amazing. Really. See, they're going for it. Now they know they need the Cloud Drake. They got it. There we go. Cloud Drake obtained.
Nice.
Mission accomplished.
Vulcan's just been farming up a storm, staying well away from the rest of his team, trying to get in a place where he has all that armor penetration so that the picks will be more successful. But 16 minutes into this game, I don't know why Crazy has 2 Sapphire Crystals. That is a very interesting question that we must ask.
He
It needs more mana, I guess.
He's got a thing for the
He'd rather have that than a completed Trinity Force, I suppose.
He's role-playing as Tarek. Old Tarek. His gems are truly outrageous.
Yeah, they are truly outrageous. In this particular instance, Doa, I don't feel great about that purchase.
Yeah. Oh, the duel. Tempt runs up, runs right into the Chaos Storm, has to flash away. And that was a fight that he did not want to take.
I do think it's interesting that Xpeke has adapted his build to match that of Smebs from yesterday in this matchup, because definitely he was going for that Tiamat first last time.
Yep.
We saw him play.
Well, if you're looking for a place to get top lane tips, I think Smeb is probably a good resource.
Yeah, it's a very good resource, one might think.
He's pretty great now.
I mean, the other problem that ESC is suffering is a total lack of wave clear. Except for a Rise ultimate, they don't have much. Dancing Grenade only can do a little bit to clear out these waves. And that means that Samsung has been pretty successful when it comes to quickly pushing down these turrets. Poke from Boomerang Blade and Death Ray, extremely effective.
Battle for the Krugs. Okay, they share. That's really nice, you know?
Just split the Krugs right down the middle, but who gets the big Krug, Doa? It's
right.
not really fair.
Well, it's fairer. Fair-ish. Well, here comes more Ever members. They're going to try to take out Xpeke. Gets exhausted, gets big, trying to live, going after Crazy. Might be able to get this kill. He will. He'll flash for it. Wow, he was able to take the 1v3.
Wow,
turn it into a kill.
The Dominus pop right there, and the little bit of extra health he got from Koldamik, keeping him alive long enough to flash after Crazy and make sure that he comes out with something in that duel.
Yeah.
And they commit so many people to that bottom side of the map that they're going to lose a lot of CS on some of these other turrets. And even Ambition's going to get some quality alone time. With the, come on, Ambition, get out of the turret range.
There.
Ruler's here as well, so it looks like they are going to take out the bottom tier 2. We'll see if Bless can stop them.
Oh, Cocoon onto Ruler. It could be in trouble. There's a flash. Headbutt pulverized.
Nice.
And there goes Ruler. Great engage from Bless and Key. Jin popping that ultimate. Oh, Ambition walks out of the range, though. Doesn't stop Bless from going in. Gets knocked up by the Braum ult. Tempt looking for some damage, but can't quite find it.
Yeah, but they have to send so many people down to these objectives. Victor was just pushing into the top tier 2 that entire time. He actually doesn't go for any of the auto attacks on it. They ping out the spawning blue buff, but they're not going to attempt to get that either with Ruler down. So I think Samsung could have pushed that just a little bit harder, considering that ESC basically all in on the bottom side, including using their teleport on the Aurelia.
Yeah. So Samsung still with a decent lead, but slowed down a little bit due to the picks. If they would have had 2 Cloud Drakes, they probably could have avoided that.
They would have gotten away faster.
That's right.
I don't think they could, because they were TP flanked. In any case, Loken gets a much-needed kill, and he will be, it appears, building that Dusk Blade as his next item.
Yeah, and we really saw what that can do, too. Prey really making that build work yesterday.
Yeah, it's pretty deadly, and we do have a Renekton that isn't going to be very tanky in this game. So catching him out and using a lot of armor penetration,
Yeah,
we'll be able to blow him up with some speed, even though he does have the Sterix Gauge as well as the Dominus now. And it's just a wait for Drake.
Yep. And which Drake is it? I didn't catch which one it was. I don't think we saw it.
It's probably Cloud.
Probably. When it rains, it pours when it comes to Cloud Drakes. Thank you for supporting that joke.
Elise.
Elise, yep.
She sounds like a laughing duck in Korean.
It's a very condescending laugh. It's like, whatever.
It's more of a quack laugh anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of like the penguin a little bit in Batman, you know? Yes, it's a penguin, not a duck, but you get the idea.
ESC has just been sitting under their turrets at tier 2 for most of this game. Not able to really contest with a 6,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. And they just can't push out the waves. They simply can't do it fast enough compared to the Victor. Crown's here just to show up and dodge skill shots with the speed from his Q.
Oh, they found Ambition. Oh, the W misses though from Loken, so Ambition will live. Maybe.
Smashes some spiders with his barrel.
Yeah, that happens. Wow, Loken has to flash on the explosive cast. Ambition going for a play there.
Yeah, great trade if you're Ambition.
I'd say so.
You'll be happy to see that one, and that's the risk of playing Jhin against a jungler with such strong engage like Gragas, or any champion with such strong engage.
Yeah.
You are very reliant on your flash. It will be an Ocean Drake.
Okay. There it is, and Samsung's gonna take this one too. So both Drakes going to Samsung so far this game. And they have been really dominating over the course of this series. It has been, what, 6, 8 Drakes now for Samsung and only 2 for ESC over the course of the series.
Yeah. Well, again, ESC did come into this series with only a 39% dragon control rate, so it really hasn't been their forte. They've also picked a couple of pretty big scaling compositions, running the like of Ezreal and Swain in the last game. Doesn't make taking early Drakes easy, and I think that's why we've seen them fall out of favor. And now we're looking at a lot more champions like Ashe and Sivir and Jhin, where if you build Jhin with a lot of armor penetration, he can really poke people off of objectives in the early and mid game quite well. You open up with that curtain call, and all of a sudden the enemy team can't defend their turret or take a Drake anymore if you land 2 or 3 of those shots. Meanwhile, Ashe, of course, with the engage.
Oh, hi. I was wrong, by the way. It was 3, because ESC ever did get those 3 Ocean Drakes in game 1.
That's true.
There you go. Still, not the greatest record overall. 3-6.
I think it makes a lot of sense that Shen is, for similar reasons, becoming another big priority pick in this meta, because Shen's ultimate, being a true global for professional teams, means that whenever you can actually just get Shen through a laning phase, he's going to be in the professional meta, because his ultimate is incredibly strong.
Yeah, of course.
For coordinated teams. And Shen also has a big early game effect when it comes to playing around that Drake. Yeah, you can TP back to lane and push up the wave and still have a lot of presence as the rest of your team goes to contest that objective.
Ever just trying to take back a little bit of their jungle as Samsung grabs that tier 2 in mid lane and then rotates down to bottom.
Jhin making some delightfully annoying noises.
It is kind of annoying, isn't it?
One would think that he wouldn't want everybody to know that his next shot was actually going to be the critical hit.
It's beautiful. It's the crescendo of his auto attack performance.
Is that right?
That's right. 2-2 turret taken. Samsung just pushing ever back even farther.
Turret goes down. The gold lead expands, Doa. Now Samsung with a stranglehold on vision in the river around the Baron can just simply rush over there and take a blue buff, clear out that one solitary pink ward, if they so choose. Ambition would rather have a prompt, apparently.
Oh, there we go. They find the pink ward. And giving the blue buff over to Crown is great, of course.
Vici can just auto that one. The ward gone. And now all eyes should be turning on to this Baron, considering that ESC will have to really dedicate a lot of resources, maybe blow Woken's ult in order to force them off of it.
Could be. He does have the Duskblade now, so he will be able to do some decent poke damage.
Yeah, you have to be kind of concerned, especially now that the Rise is fully stacked on the Rod of Ages and the Seraph's Embrace, so they are starting to come into their own just a little bit, but Crazy is still crazy squishy with just a cowl and a shroud. So just about the split push. Juve very happy in this matchup right now. Building into probably a dead man's plate, I would guess.
Samsung not needing to really rush at all. Just kind of played out methodically and slowly kind of choked the life out of ESC Ever.
Indeed, and like you say, they're not even going to go for the Baron. They're just going to start pressing down on the last tier 2 right now.
Yeah, why not? They did send Kube down to bot lane as well.
Well, they know he can win that 1v1. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, right onto Ambition. Rob ultimate used for the counter engage from Samsung, and a lot of ESC members. Oh, great explosive cast. Wow, they were all right where Samsung wanted them. 2 kills come in already. Ambition has to give his life, but in the end, a big win for Samsung again. They can probably just move towards this Baron now.
Ambition took some unnecessary damage at the start of that fight and did position himself to get caught and then chain CC'd, but man, he turned that one around. The Rise and the Alistar just get pummeled, just pushed into the middle of his team, and they quickly clean them up from that point forward.
Oh, Bless flashes, but still gets hit by that Braum Q. He's going to get stunned when he comes down. There's the exhaust to ensure it, but no. Actually, he'll make it out.
Yeah, it was a good flash from Cube. Unfortunately, the repel was there because the Braum passive stacks very quickly with Ruthless Predator. You're able to get that W down, and Ambition was chain CC'd, but it was layered a little bit right there, so they didn't get the full value. And what a great ultimate, just straight into the Chaos Storm too.
Yeah, and he hit him with the body slam as they flew towards him too, so they were taking a lot of damage from that Chaos Storm.
Great play from Ambition.
It's really interesting to see how different of a team this group is if they've got Wraith down at support. They really are a completely different team.
Yeah, shows how much one player can really affect a team when it comes to its style or its shot calling.
Yeah.
Gotta have that right mixture of communication and skill. It seems like Wraith is doing a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to that.
Well, there's definitely a certain amount of confidence in Samsung that does not exist when they've got Core JJ playing support.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, hey, another Cloud Drake, all right. Sweet.
And they're taking it after 29 minutes, so mercifully we will not see another one.
Oh, well. It's like 5 people clapping for the Cloud Drake, like, is that good? I guess. Sure. Yay. Time to bait the Baron. Just getting a little bit more vision control around the pit. But Samsung certainly got the time to do this right.
Yeah, just waiting, very patient. They're respectful at the very least of the power that this Jhin and Rise have at this stage of the game, and they don't want to be caught out. Again, they don't have a whole lot of armor, just a couple of Dead Man's plates, and that Jhin has a whole lot of armor penetration now with his new Dirk in the inventory.
Yep.
It will be turned into a Maw eventually.
Oh, it's okay. Meanwhile, nobody sees Samsung hanging out there. Oh, they're going to go for it. On the hunt, popped. Trying to collapse onto Bless and Loken. They might be able to. Explosive Cast does get Bless. Loken manages to escape. Has to burn his flash to do it, though. There's a pick for Samsung with the jungler dead. They can turn right around onto that Baron. Yeah,
now's the time to go. They were very patient, get a pick. Couldn't quite get onto Loken, but the fact that he doesn't have flash anymore will be a great relief to Samsung.
Yeah, taking the blue buff on their way. And this Baron could mean the end of the game for Ever and Samsung.
Just gonna take it down. No possible chance for a contest right here. ESC Ever not even going to try. And since they already have all the tier 2s down, this should be enough to actually close this game out.
Yeah.
Particularly when they have such a heavy advantage in the split push with this Renekton into the Aurelia.
Kind of looking that way.
ESC making a last attempt to push out the minion waves and buy themselves as much time as possible. And they will do a pretty good job of that, actually, considering how far the members of Samsung have to go in the bottom side. But with only one tier 1 turret dead on Samsung's side on the map, they actually can't push too far forward here.
Well, it's been an interesting best of 3, hasn't it?
It has been.
Feel like we saw what Ever can do in certain circumstances. There's like flashes of brilliance here and there. But Samsung with Rage at support is quite the force to be reckoned with.
I think that's the biggest thing we've done, is that it is a night and day difference. We've seen 3 games of core so far. Wasn't really willing to call it after a couple, but I think we have enough evidence right now of seeing the transformation that Samsung has had in every series that they've played now, when when we compare the games with Wraith to the games of Core JJ, they got absolutely rolled by KT in Game 1. They put up a very good game. One of my favorite games of the season in Game 2 of Samsung versus KT. Really good League of Legends. And then they got absolutely destroyed. Game 1 of this series came back, and it's been pretty one-sided for Samsung since.
Here we go, going in. Explosive cast pushes Logan away. He's going to turn around with the damage. Samsung kind of grouped up. They need to be careful here. Crazy, though, not able to get anything done on that Aurelia. They comes back in for an easy kill there. Bless on the run, and Samsung closing it out with that inhibitor turret. Kube huge right now. Bless has flash away. There we go. Crown flashing in for the kill for himself. There goes the inhibitor. Can they end here? I don't know. Tempt got 1 kill. Wraith very low. They get the inhibitor. But with Wraith and Kube nearly dead, they're going to have to back off.
Because Ambition missed his cask right there and wasn't able to pull in Loken, even though Loken didn't have his flash available, so misplay there from Ambition. I like that Samsung just immediately backed off. You notice that they tried to disengage there just instantaneously. They didn't follow through with the play, came back, went to kill the turret, went to kill the inhibitor, instead of just committing 100% to that dive. And now, as a final item, Cuvée going to get that Tiamat well after his Deadman Plate and his GA.
He'll be doing a lot of damage on that Renekton.
Yeah, well, he has been, and now we're finally starting to see why the Renekton pick was coming in, Doa. Both yesterday and today, this build has shown that it can easily handle an Aurelia to split push 1v1, and even into the late game, so.
Very true.
Of course, you do have to pair it with something that can actually provide engage, considering that Renekton is only a very short dash to work with. But when you have Sivir and Gragas, definitely have enough engage to justify a Renekton pick for team fighting.
You got to think Someday is pretty excited about this too. Over on KT, he's like,
sure
finally.
He is. The Renekton Lord is back.
I'm back. The original Renekton main. Or not the original, but one of the big Renekton mains in Korea. Time to go for this top lane inhibitor turret. And we're trying to defend. Meanwhile, Kube pushing in that mid lane. Going to do a lot of damage to the turret. They're going to turn it into Ambition, but no follow-up from Ever. All right, they're going to go for it. Ruler pops the ultimate yet again. Bless, nice explosive cast, forcing him out of the fight for the moment anyway. He tries to engage, takes some damage, goes in actually for the big headbutt pulverize, but there's just no damage overall coming in from ESC Ever, it looks like. Jin can't really get any done. Tempt can't get close enough, trying to now. Chaos Storm going to force him back. GA going to bring back Kube. Crown does go down to the turret, actually, and Samsung pushed away. There's a kill for Loken. Now the teleport bringing Crazy back. He's going to try to flank Ruler and Kube.
I don't know if he can actually get this kill. He needs to think very carefully about that one.
No kidding.
Yeah, he does not want to go in there. He realizes that the stun from Renekton would probably just end him, considering the Ruler could just ricochet auto him, and that'd probably be it. And they actually coordinate their recalls very well to prevent Aurelia from being able to do anything, but the Elder Dragon may be the price. They didn't even get that mid lane inhibitor.
No, they didn't. Kube's there with full health. He's going to come in now. Ambition coming from the other side. Kube just going to go on to Loken, force him to flash out of the pit right away. Elder Dragon lower and lower. ESC Ever's committed now. They really want this, but here comes Ruler joining the fight now. Here comes Alistar. All right. Oh, actually, they do kill Ruler. Crown's still dead. Kube in a lot of trouble. There's a kill, though, for him right before he gets taken out. Elder Dragon's still alive through all of this. I think the Dragon's winning this team fight. Mission coming in, getting knocked up alongside of Wraith. Kiso there. Loken gets a curtain call back again. And this Dragon still alive. There's a kill onto Ambition.
Here's Crown. He's coming
here. Wraith pops the Bravo.
Crown.
Crown comes back, and they might be able to get it. There's one. Crown gets the kill. Elder Dragon does finally go over to ESC Ever, and they nearly win the team fight along with that.
I
don't know what's going on, man.
They did win the team fight. Are they going to lose their inhibitor? Looks like the minion wave is going to actually prevent that from happening.
What am I watching here?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Samsung, though, I don't blame them for going in on that, considering how much damage that Elder Dragon was doing to ESC Ever in the pit. and of course them not wanting to get them to pick up that buff. But most of that buff is actually just going to be wasted, Doha, because they all had to go back into their base to defend. It's only a minute and a half, and
well, it's going to keep them alive, and that's the important thing.
they also had no Drakes to actually stack up there.
Well, they got the base buff at least. Baron up in about 15.
Yeah, Samsung, I think the best case scenario if you are ESC is to try and force a Baron fight while you still have this Elder Drake buff available, but I think Samsung's going to be smart and just sit here and push minion waves until it goes away.
Yeah. Here's Baron.
Samsung should absolutely not start this while the Elder Dragon buff is still up.
Yeah, that'd be more than a little bit risky. But then again, we've seen them do things that are more than a little bit risky this series already, so you never know. Samsung getting back into position in the mid lane. They've got vulnerable open inhibitors in both mid and bottom. But suddenly, I mean, that dragon buff just puts a big pause in the game, basically.
Yeah, it also is a late game rise, so Samsung doesn't want to mess this one up.
Or do
and
they?
Get caught inside the pit with a lot of Rise AoE. Jin also pretty scary right now, and he's building into an Infinity Edge. He is going to be a monster.
Yeah.
In a few minutes. ESC, they may be behind 13,000 gold, but Samsung playing with a lot of respect.
Well, we're at the point, too, where the gold lead doesn't really matter as much either. I mean, you're starting to get all the items you want to on your character, and everybody's going to be doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, ESC still going to be 2 items behind, but I think the power of their composition is evident, and Samsung also knows that if they step out of line once, with all of the single target crowd control that ESC has, they can be burst down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So Ravenous Hydra, the final item for Cube. Don't know if he'd be picking that one or going with the Titanic, but he opts for the bigger damage.
Probably a good idea.
Loken will not survive an encounter with this Renekton, that's for sure.
Okay. Samsung being very sneaky here. Oh, Cocoon immediately as they try to engage. Zipper ultimate used anyway. Repel from Bless trying to get back to that minion wave. Loken turning it around with the curtain call. Explosive Cask knocks him out of it though. Bless very low. Tempt on that late game rise. Remember, no dragon buff right now. They've got to try to win it the old-fashioned way. Kube looking for an angle into the back line, but Bless is still okay for the moment. He tries to engage, gets taken out by Crown, and now Samsung can push ahead. Tempt flashing out of the queue from the Braum. There goes Bless. Brought back with the GA for just a moment, but you can't imagine he's going to survive for too long. Nope. And so Samsung free and clear to go for this Baron now and try to end the game.
Yeah, in fact, they're not even going to go for the inhibitors first. I think that actually the better play right now is just to go ahead and take out the 2 naked inhibitors, then take the Baron, and then make a final push. As that does, there's no reason you can't kill their inhibitors with both their jungler and their support down, but
I suppose
they're going for the direct play here.
That is true. Well, securing that Baron should secure them the win, so.
Yeah, you have to wait longer for the super minions now to push up into the base. You're not going to have them when you right away after you walk into their base.
Bless will be back.
Bless will be back. I mean, Bless being back for the Baron is also potentially a problem, but I think they had enough time that Bless would not have been able to make it, and if the members of ESC were to attempt to defend, it would have been more kills over to the side of Samsung.
Yeah. Well, ESC ever trying to set up some picks. And they need him. Picks are the only way they're going to win this game. Ambition.
He knows.
Yep. That's right. Meanwhile, the top inhibitor turret being taken down by Kube. And Ever just doesn't. They just don't look like they can stop this aggression.
Well, that was the Hail Mary play right there. Maybe you get a pick and you can actually turn the tide and march down to the other side of the map this late in the game, but once they were found out by a very safe ward from Ambition, no more opportunity.
Yep, right, blocking the damage after that cocoon. Looking pretty good there. And Ever loses their mid inhibitor. Loses their top inhibitor. Loses their bottom inhibitor. And they're about to lose the game. Explosive cast used just to split up the members of Ever right now. Xpeke again trying to loop around the Nexus and come from behind, just simply zoning so they can take out the turrets. Loken can't get a lot done with the ultimate despite the damage on that Jhin. And now Xpeke, the monster on this Renekton, picks up the first kill of this team fight. Crown doing a ton on that Victor as well. And Samsung's got this one all locked up. There goes Tempt. Without that Rise damage, there's no chance at all. Samsung's going to take this one 2-1. GG.
That's right. And after Wraith comes back in, two
What do you know?
dominating performances from Samsung.
Yeah.
Certainly, Samsung was conservative with some of their shot calling in the late game, leading to some safe snowball victories, but games did go a little bit longer than perhaps they needed to, but just making sure that they could come back and actually seal the deal so they can continue a little bit of a rise here in the standings.
Yep. So going forward, again, I mean, you'd be surprised if they kept trying this core JJ thing. I mean, clearly, Wraith is the way to go. That helps give Samsung that much-needed win.
Yeah.
As far as Ever, I mean, I think Ever did what they could, but in the end, just not one of our stronger teams this season.
Yeah, and they actually did have a pretty solid performance at game number 1. Played aggressively, played decisively. I liked the Kalista Alistar usage that we saw. I sort of wish that they had gone back to that instead of the Jhin in game number 3 because they showed how well they can use it, and you really got to see the synergy between Loken and Key in that game.
I suppose.
But not going to be enough to actually take out a best of 3 against Samsung in the end, and Xpeke showed up that game. Renekton pick finally for him working out as an Aurelia counter pick. We saw its success yesterday when Speb used it. Xpeke really doing a lot to shut Crazy down in that game.
Yeah. Renekton has arrived in LCK Summer. Smeb performance, the Xpeke performance looking good.